Hey folks, welcome to this video. We're on the way down from the San Francisco Bay Area to Los Angeles. We took 101 South, then 152 I believe it was, and now we're on 5 South. I wouldn't recommend taking 152. It's kind of a very windy freeway and it's kind of dangerous driving at night. I'd rather take 92 East and then 5 South from the Bay Area. We're currently south of Fresno and this is the scenery. It's kind of flat here. We went through some hills, some mountains, but here it's very flat. It's kind of a agricultural land area. There's a lot of trucks here on this freeway, and my impression was a lot of people are commuting from south of the San Jose area to Silicon Valley. It's a lot cheaper down here. Fresno was the biggest city we passed so far, and other than that, there's barely any people living here, or there's very small communities. It's interesting to note that a lot of the Democrats and a lot of the people in the Bay Area tend to be more democratic, rather than here it's more Republican. It's kind of more conservative. We saw a sign earlier that said make California great again. However, there are of course people, different people living everywhere, so that's just a general statement. We checked all kinds of departure times, and we figured out leaving at around 4 o'clock is, if you leave sometime between 1 and 5 or 6 in the morning, around 4 o'clock is the shortest distance. I should say time-wise, if you're leaving at least like we did during the a work day or a weekday. The speed limit here is a little bit higher than in the Bay Area. In most places it's 70 miles per hour. 124 miles from Los Angeles. There's some interesting mountains here. This type of shape of mountains is pretty common in California. It reminds me of blanket, like looks like some fruit trees here. I believe we're part of this is part of the Central Valley. Central Valley has a lot of agricultural plants, and people here produce a lot of different fruits and different fruits, foods and stuff like that. It's very agricultural here. We're here now a little bit further south. This is a very typical freeway scene in Central California or anywhere inland in California, with this kind of yellow, burned up, kind of dry grass hills. We're about 170 miles north of Los Angeles right now. There's still a lot of farms here, some camping. Freeways in America are maintained very well. There's also always convenience stops, rest areas everywhere. Usually these places are also maintained well, they're clean. There's usually more than one gas station at the stop areas. This wide open area here. Oh, interesting pyramid formations here. Looks like gravel maybe, or sand, or the speed limit is still 70. In some parts of the US it's actually higher. I think somewhere north of Texas, or maybe in Texas, in the south it's 75 in some areas, but typically the standard one is 65. .65 might be in kind of more metropolitan areas though. Maybe outside of the cities, the typical one is 70 miles an hour. It's about 112 kilometers per hour or so. It's at 174 miles to Los Angeles, but that's actually, I think, measured to like the downtown area. The outskirts should be a little bit closer. And there's more fruit trees here. And I just saw a sign, "Welcome to Southern California." But actually, technically, we're still in kind of Central California. There's an interesting concept, and that is I think culturally California is divided into two only, southern and northern, and then central is kind of more inland. Okay, we're here now about another 15 miles down south, and the scenery changed a little bit. Now looks like a prairie here, kind of short grass, kind of looks dry, mountains there in the distance. Water is an issue here. The farmers need water, and there are signs everywhere here that say like something like if there's no water, there's no jobs, things like that. California is supplied by the Colorado River, which comes from the Rocky Mountains as far as drinking water. I think also for irrigation, the water might be coming from there also. I'm not sure. There's a few rivers here, but I think not that many. I think they're mostly up north. California produces a lot of fruits and vegetables though, so somehow people manage to produce that with the water shortage. And we just entered Kern County. This is Kern County, California here. There's some smoke there coming up. I see some farm equipment. More trucks. Here changed to kind of grassy, dry hay area again. Very flat here. A few clouds. We're here at this stop on the freeway. This is kind of a typical stop. The fruit trees are growing all the way up to here, to the freeway area. One thing I wanted to mention is usually in freeway areas or somewhere in the the Midwest, or in places where people are traveling, you can see a lot of missing person signs. My impression is that a lot of teenagers usually, or maybe kids, go missing. Maybe they escape, or maybe there's quite a few of divorces, especially in California, so maybe one of the parents kidnaps the kids and goes away or something like that. So you see these kind of signs sometimes. Some spectacular mountains, folks. We're about 100 miles north of Los Angeles now here. Here is much greener. Now there's seems to be more water here. We saw also a water storage kind of tower. Water conservation is big here. People rely on water to irrigate their farms.
Stay in the left 2 lanes.
Some beautiful clouds in this area. More mountainous here and greener too. Regular gas here is $3.55. 1 gallon is about 4 liters or so. This is 76 gas station. It's usually cheaper than others. And this is a typical store next to a gas station. And some fast food places here. I wanted to show you this because American Standard has a factory in Bulgaria. They make a lot of these, and these are all over the US. But I don't know if that's the only factory, but this brand is very common in the US. It's a typical bathroom. A hand dryer. Very beautiful mountains here. Nice shape. These are very typical for California, like this. Here, of course, is warmer than in Northern California, and it's sunnier too. We have more traffic now. We left early in the morning, but now people are going to work, and it's a weekday, so 82 miles to Los Angeles. From the San Francisco Bay Area until now, we've only seen one cop, and I'm guessing it's because it was very early in the morning. But my impression of police activity on freeways here is that typically depends where you are, whether or not you see them, and second of all, maybe they have some kind of a planned activity. Maybe they'd like to target a specific area, or they have a quota they need to fulfill. But in general, you have to be careful because cops are very strict. Oh, that looks so beautiful. I love that color. Through this mountain pass here, and the mountains still look really good. The shape is pretty unique. For this part of the world it's very common, but where I come from, Bulgaria, it's the shapes are not like this. This is kind of a very interesting, different shape. And it's not common to see in my part of the world like mountains like this, so barren, just grass. Although it's a mountain, there's only grass, no trees. It's not common in Bulgaria. there's no houses on them, just Hey guys, we finally made it to LA. The final stretch of the trip was on 405, and it was pretty congested. And we also exited that and went on 101, but that also was pretty bad. So unfortunately, what they say about LA traffic is true, and but that's all right because we are here in sunny although windy Santa Monica, which is right on the ocean, just next to LA. So thanks for viewing the video, and I hope you enjoyed this part of the leg of the trip, and I'll see you in the next video. Either exploring LA or going back and taking a video of our trip on the way back. Alright, take care. Bye. Hey everybody, we're here in Beverly Hills. Driving on Sunset Boulevard. We're preparing to head back up to Northern California soon. Alright. It's pretty warm here. We just passed by Bel Air and now driving through Beverly Hills and going through Hollywood. Sunset Boulevard. Hey guys, we're here on the Sunset Strip, heading towards the Chinese theater where the Oscars are held. A bit of a traffic here. There's a few recording studios, I think, here still. Oh, nice view of LA down there. Oh, this is a Hustler store here. And specialties cars here. There's a lot of movie posters everywhere, of course. After all, this is Hollywood here. Some cool movie posters there. These are nice cafes and restaurants. Ah, nice car here. Out of the LA, a little bit of traffic here until about Santa Clarita or so, and then we should be good. We're driving up on 5 North, going back the same way. LA traffic is not extreme, but there's a lot of it. It's just LA is a bigger city. LA metropolitan area is bigger than the San Francisco Bay Area, so it's just the traffic is not extreme, but it's just because of it's a bigger scale metropolitan area, the traffic is just more. But actually driving in the carpool lane is not so bad, but still quite a bit of traffic, and we're just gonna clear here probably in about 10-15 minutes, and then it'll get much better. So stay tuned. Hey folks, we're going back, passing here through the mountains again. These look a little bit different. These have kind of some bushes on them or something. They're still kind of the same style. And things look pretty dry here. Freeway 5 had an interesting kind of split just outside of LA. All the trucks separated on the right, and all the other cars went on the left. For some reason, some of the cars went on the right too, but that actually helped us alleviate some of the traffic. There's a few more cops on the way. On the way back, because it's daytime. Please comment down below if there's any other part of the world that looks like this. I personally haven't seen any other area with this type of mountains. This is pretty unique. I don't think I've seen any of these types of mountains any other place in the US, but I of course might be wrong. Maybe in someplace in the Southwest they do have them. But I'll be interested to know if there's any other part of the world that has this type of mountains. We're here at the Comm Outlets. It's about, I think, maybe 60 miles north of LA. This place, you know, today's a weekday and this place kind of looks deserted. Compared to like the Livermore outlets, or I should say the San Francisco outlets as they're called in Livermore in the Bay Area, here is kind of slower than up north, but probably because it's a weekday. Some spectacular mountains, folks. We're about 100 miles north of Los Angeles now here. Here is much greener. Now there's seems to be more water here. We saw also a water storage kind of tower. Water conservation is big here. People rely on water to irrigate their farms.
Stay in the left 2 lanes.
Some beautiful clouds in this area.